Hello again and welcome to day 23 of Unveiling the Civility Advent Calendar 2019 series with Bukio Dushote. It's 2 days to Christmas. Where's all the time gone? I'm sure we're all set and ready to go. I hope you're done with all your shopping and you're looking forward to Christmas. Again, I cannot overemphasize my gratitude for your love, for the shares, for your comments and your feedbacks, both in person, over the phone, and your sincere comments. I really do appreciate all of it. Your shares is most appreciated. Thank you for this journey. You've made it really easy and enjoyable for me. Now, for the benefit of those who are just watching it for the very first time, I did say when we started that the nuggets for 2019 will be taken from a book by Dr. P.M. Funny called Choosing Civility. So for the past 23 days, we have been talking about the 25 rules of conduct that Dr. Funny has kindly stated in his book. And I believe we've been working through that as well and practicing them. So we've got some nuggets for today. And so we're going to check out the 23rd rule of considerate conduct. And the rule 23 today says, accept and give constructive criticism. Accept and give constructive criticism. So here I've got two quotes I'm going to read very quickly, and then after that we'll go in quickly to see what Dr. Funny has to say about criticism. So the very first quote is by Corrie ten Boom, and he says, our critics are the unpaid guardians of our soul. And then the next one I've got here, he says, I hate judgment that only crushes and do not transform. And that is by Elias Cannetti. All right. So what does he have to say about criticism? He's not saying to us that criticism is a good thing, but he says it's good when it is constructive. So how do we make constructive criticism? Let's see what he's got to say here. Now, first of all, it's pointed out that we need to look at criticism in a more positive light and not see it as someone trying to dehumanize us or bring us down ego-wise, but it's their contribution to us, just like the quote here that talks about unpaid guardians, but people who are helping us to be better than who we already are, to bring out the best in us. So it says we need to look at criticism in that way, as opposed to looking at it in a negative way where we feel that people are constantly trying to bring us down when they point out the commas that they've noticed. Now it said, first of all, even for us, if we want to criticize, we need to first of all establish that that criticism is not coming from an intention to create more problem, to humiliate someone, to manipulate them, or to exact revenge. But he said, let us ensure that when we try, or when we're criticizing, is actually coming from our place of trying to solve a problem. So you've noticed something that you feel your friend or your colleague at work or the people around you or your subordinate or even your superior needs to address, and you know that that particular issue will contribute even to their progress if they're able to get it right. And so if you're coming from that angle, you realize that even though any criticism may seem like it's a bit hurtful, but guess what? They're going to receive it in a good light because they are thinking about their progress more. And so he said, let's come from that angle. Another thing he said is we need to note that with constructive criticism, there are certain things we need to know. The first thing is you need to identify an issue. So there's an issue you're trying to address here and you hit the nail in the head. There's no point beating around the bush. Do that very sincerely. And he says there's no point trying to rub someone's ego in the process of trying to convey it in a good way. But he said as much as possible, rather than say what you did was hopeless, try to say to them this could have been done in a more effective way. So use positive words as opposed to negative ones that could easily deflate anyone. He also explained about describing what you have observed. So let them know what you have observed. Don't attack their person. It's your observation that you're trying to pass on. So let it be clear. He says, show that you understand also the feelings of that person, because of course nobody will want to be in the wrong and want to continue to stay in the wrong. It might even be something they're struggling with or they've been trying so hard to address. So let them know that if you've been there, let them know you've been there and you've been able to walk through it. So you're with them and you would support them. He also says suggest a solution if that's possible there and then. Otherwise, let them know that you're prepared to walk with them through the whole journey. And he said, as much as possible, remain calm, be kind and empathic throughout when you convey the message. And he also talked about receiving criticism. And he said, when you receive that, sometimes it can feel a bit hurtful, because maybe you feel, well, why would you tell me, especially when you think that you know what you're doing? But he said, don't look at it that way. If you look at criticism as somebody who is trying to help you be a better person, then of course you're going to see it in a better light. And he said, when people are trying to say, correct you in certain areas, rather than look at yourself in the picture of what they are painting, try to look at it as if they're talking about somebody else. And then he also mentioned about don't listen because you're waiting to respond to them, because in the process of doing that, you're not even going to take whatever it is that you're telling you in. Rather, you're already preparing your response for it, and that wouldn't work. And of course, you won't learn the lesson that needs to be learned. And finally, he mentioned that if you know that they've actually told you something that you can see clearly that it's all about you look like the picture they've painted, it said, accept that gracefully, let them know you are appreciative of it, and you would take that on board. And of course, if you think that's something you cannot take immediately, then let them know you appreciate their honesty and you would definitely come back to them. And finally, if you think, because sometimes some criticism might be coming from the wrong place, if you think whatever picture they've painted does not look anything like you, then let them know you're so sorry, but you can't see yourself in the picture they've painted, and you won't accept or agree with whatever it is that they've communicated to you, and you can easily move on. But thank them anyway, and then close the chapter. So I hope the next time when you are giving your criticism or when you are receiving one, you will do it in a way that will be different from maybe how you've done it before. Be kind towards others when you're trying to pass that message on. Be empathic as much as you can be. And of course, when it's you, take it with a good stride and know that the person is trying to be of help. Finally, he says, when we turn our back on good criticism, what we do is we become, we do so at our own peril. So he says, as much as possible, embrace it because it's all about us. I guess I'm done for tonight. Have a wonderful night rest, and I'll see you again tomorrow, day 24, and it's 2 days before we finish. I hope you're looking forward to the next 2 days. I am. Have a wonderful time, and thank you once again. It's your friend Buki Odushote. Good night.